dark, stormy night, you're a woman, very attractive, you're walking alone, and then some unknown perpetrator grabs you and violates you in the most primal of ways. And it does happen. I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen, but it's not the entire percentage. It's not 100%. In fact, studies show that rapes occur, and the perpetrators of those rape is someone that the victim may know or mas masakit may trust. Rape is common all shape, size, kind, and color. Yeah.
Shape?
A lot of people would say,
Round?
this person. What
You mean fat people, skinny, short, tall,
skinny,
yeah.
round.
Triangle?
I'm trying to imagine.
More like pear shape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pyramid?
Yes, I think pear shape. I think
Yeah.
ako yun.
Yeah.
Pyramid.
It's okay.
You can't distinguish. You can't distinguish that a person is not a rapist just by looking at this person. It can be someone na yung nasa movie, horror movie ideology natin, someone who is not clean, someone who comes from the slums, and then it can be someone who is a really, someone who has a position in a corporate environment, who dresses well, who has a car. You can't distinguish between your rapists. At the same time, victims also come in all shapes, size, kind, and color. Which is why a child as old as 8 months old can be raped. And a woman as old as 73 can be raped. That's why a Christian girl who is very conservative can be raped. And that is why a woman wearing a burqa can be raped. That is why I can be raped. Regardless of whether I'm wearing this outfit, which is slightly, or if I'm wearing my jammies at home and my ratty old t-shirt. Someone who is a victim can be anybody. It can be a man, it can be a woman, it can be an old person, it can be a gay man, it can be a bisexual. Walang profile ang rape victim. But usually, who is vulnerable? It's usually children, and it's usually women. Young people are generally more vulnerable, especially children. Why? Because they're afraid. Because it's easy to coerce these young people into giving in to what the perpetrator wants. And later on, I'll show you statistics showing the proportion of women rape victims versus children rape victims. And women who are seen as second-class citizens are more vulnerable, and this is always true. A woman who is seen as a second-class citizen in any society is more vulnerable to rape because generally these women are also more vulnerable to violence. Again, rape is committed. What?
It's okay. Continue.
Committed by an unknown assailant. But rape can also be committed by a relative. But it can be, yung kwento ko kanina, it was committed by a stepfather. The stepfather is still considered to be a relative. It can be committed by a brother, it can be committed by an uncle, it can be committed by, a grandfather. And this is true. We just have to look at the tabloids to see all of the stories regarding, family violating family. And rape can be committed by spouse. One of the laws in the Philippines that is very strong is the Violence Against Women and Children Act. Now, the Violence Against Women and Children Act are more on intimate partner violence. So, intimate partner means if I have a boyfriend and I have sex with my boyfriend and he hits me, that's intimate partner violence. If I am just going out with random guys and I have sex with them and this guy hits me, that's intimate partner violence. If I am married and this person hits me, that's intimate partner violence. So I am protected by vow, by the vows law. But other people would think that if you're in a relationship with someone and they have sex with you, okay. But if you're in a relationship with someone and you refuse to have sex with them, and they force you to have sex, that is not rape. Because nasa relationship daw kayo. Because you guys are in a relationship. And this is not true. Because if we go back to the definition of rape by virtue of the rape law, there is no There's no loophole for someone you're in a relationship with, as long as it's coerced, as long as you are coerced, as long as you were forced, as long as you did not or are not able to give consent. That is rape, regardless of your relationship with this person. Marital rape does happen, and marital rape happens because one partner feels entitled to have sex. You guys are not entitled to have sex. You guys must get the consent of your partner, whether that be your girlfriend, your fuck buddy, or even your husband or wife, to have sex. Because relationship is not an excuse. And in relation to what I previously talked about, date rape, it does happen. And a lot of people would say, eh, di ba boyfriend mo yan? Eh, di ba you're going out with him? Again, it doesn't matter. By definition of the rape law, relationship is not an
example, it's
excuse.
15. Oh, I can rape her. It's 15. 15 is date rape. Yeah. Just kidding. Sorry.
And, okay. Rape occurring in times of humanitarian crisis and conflicts. And this is what I talked about in given that situation in Zamboanga. And this is really interesting. I looked for the effects of rape in an individual. When I took up nursing, we have like a part of a chapter about rape, and the effects goes on for like 3 pages. I'm not going to enumerate everything, but I'm going to be enumerating some. And the first one is the physical effects. Of course, there's pregnancy. Rape is obviously unprotected and unplanned sex, obviously. So the woman can get pregnant. The woman or the child or the victim can also get HIV and AIDS because it is unprotected sex and obviously unplanned sex. Of course, sexually transmitted infection can happen, bleeding, especially if the victim is a virgin, or if you will look into the case of, have you heard of the case, yung 3-month-old na baby na naiwan sa ilalim ng, the kid, the baby, not even the kid, the baby was left under the sheet.
Yeah.
And when they investigated the case, the baby suffered from internal bleeding of the liver because of the forcing of the penis into the baby's vagina. I'm sorry, I'm being very gory and graphic, but it's what happens.
That's
it's what
autopsy.
happens.
That's what happened.
Okay. Of course, there can be lacerations in the vaginal and the anal areas, particularly if it's sex without, if it's rape. There's probably no lubrication in the vaginal, more so in the anal area. There is going to be laceration. That's why we have lube in Mercury and Watson. Because sometimes if it's not lubricated, it's going to be lacerated. And in rape, you don't have that kind of treatment. Broken bones, bruises, and death. Because together with rape, sometimes there is bleeding, and you can die from that. And again, just like in the case of the child, of the baby that was found under the jeepney, that child died because of rape, because of the physical effects of rape. I agree, gago yung gumawa nun. And what's even scarier in that case was that it was, the child was sleeping with the mother. They slept in the streets. And you can see in the CCTV this guy abducting the kid. The perpetrator kissed the kid a couple of times before taking the kid and disappearing and doing God knows what. Psychological effects. The psychological effects of rape, these are the effects that are long lasting. This would stay in the person forever. I know several rape victims who function as normally as anybody could, but they would always say, it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
You know, it never goes away. It's always there with you. The insecurity of being raped, the social stigma related to it, and these are just some. You have post-traumatic stress disorder, which is classified as a mental illness already. And what happens here is that what's scary about post-traumatic stress disorder is that it doesn't appear immediately. It appears several months or years after the incident. So, nakaget over ka na, feel mo nakaget over ka na, and then after 6 months, you get anxiety, you get night terrors. You suddenly feel afraid of standing in front of a crowd. You don't want to be touched by men or women. So, again, the effects of this is long-lasting. Self-blame. I wasn't able to protect myself. I wasn't able to protect the precious gem that is my body. What's wrong with me? Eating disorders, poor self-esteem, guilt, suicide and suicidal ideations. I had several people, several victims come to me and say, I cut myself and I want to die. And sometimes I OD on drugs. I get weed, or no, not weed. I get drugs and I OD. Bakit? They want to die. Yes, escape. And sometimes, in our nursing book, it's psychiatric health nursing. Well, basically psychiatric health nursing. That's the title. My quote doon that really got to me, and it said, "Victims survived, but they want to die," which is true. When I talk to all of the people, all of the people who trusted me with their stories, they would say, "Nabuhay na ako, pero gusto ko nang mamatay. Sana namatay na lang ako." And again, it's not within the time frame. It's not even within the year of being raped. It's years and months and even decades after the incident. Depression, sexual disorder. It's either the person, because they don't feel comfortable about sex anymore, they don't want to have sex anymore, or they are hypersexualized. They want to have sex again and again and again and again because they can't get pleasure from it. Or they get pleasure from it pero lagi kulang. And night terrors, again, related to post-traumatic stress disorders. Social effects, and this is something we're going to be talking about more, secondary victimization. And this includes victim blaming. Quote from the PATAS forum, sino ang dapat sisihin? Yung magulang o yung babae? Who should be blamed? The parents or the woman?
Fuck that shit.
Fuck you. Diba? Inappropriate post-assault behavior of health professional and authority. In the United States, they have what they call SANE. That's Sexual Abuse Nurse Examiner. These nurses are specially trained to handle cases of sexual abuse. So if I were sexually abused, I went to a hospital, a SANE would come to me and would treat me in a very nice manner, would treat me in a manner that I won't feel victimized. But in the Philippines, we don't have that. And the last update I had about, it's under the field of forensic nursing. Just to share, the last update I have was, wala eh. Nobody is here to train health professionals on how to take care and even how to take evidence from a sexual assault case. And so, our victims would go to the hospital and they would be treated in a very insensitive manner. Traumatic sa kanila yon. Nababoy na nga sila ng una, bababuyin pa sila ulit. And then we have our authorities who would ask, anong suot mo? What were you wearing? Oo. Nakapajama po ako. Ano?
Nakasutana po ako.
Oo. Nakaduster po ako. 3 araw na po ako dinaliligo. But seriously, some people would ask that. And some people would ask, who are you with? Why were you out at 9 p.m. in the evening drinking? Aren't you too young to be drinking? And these questions are actually irrelevant to the case. These people do not know how to treat sexual abuse or rape victims. So ang nangyayari, the victim would just say, ayoko na. I don't want to talk to the health professional anymore. I don't want to talk to the authorities anymore because I feel